This is J. Krishnamurti's fourth discussion with teachers in Gstaad, 1974.
I hope you had good sleep, did you, after lunch? I didn't. Is it possible to translate or to tell the students what we were talking about this morning? That the good is never in the future. That behavior is always in the present. I think if one could think about it, it has great significance. Well, let's go back to... So what are we talking about today? Now, rather.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I want to know, whatever we're doing and however we do it, how do we do it in a place which is petrified with tradition, which would be the institution of Brahkwad itself?
Is institution petrified or the people petrified?
Are the people petrified by the institution?
Are you? Yeah. Huh?
Is there petrification?
Does institution petrify people? Or petrified people form institutions? Here, are we petrified?
No.
I don't know.
I'm not.
You may be, I don't know.
Okay.
And if you are petrified, whatever you do will be obviously rotten. Now, is tradition and the following of tradition a movement towards death, which is petrification? We've got students, we've got teachers, we've got a community. No parent would send their children to the school if we said we're not going to teach mathematics, etc., etc. They've got to learn a livelihood. And there, a certain kind of tradition is necessary. The teaching of a subject can be taught traditionally or non-traditionally. And that depends on the teacher and so on, so on, so on. If we follow tradition in the deep sense of that word, blind obedience, acceptance of authority, that there is a tomorrow in which you're going to become perfect, that life is not now, but in the past, controlling the future, and you are shaping your life to the future, all that is tradition. And that has brought about, as Signora Tapazia was saying at lunchtime, complete chaos in Italy. And is producing chaos everywhere else. More so perhaps in Italy and in India. That is real death. And we said in this with this group, that can the mind be on the other shore in which there is no tradition? I wouldn't say no tradition. There is no petrification. There is no dying in the real sense of that word. Now, have we left tradition? That's the real question. Not if you're on the other bank. Moment you drop tradition, there is no bank. There's only a bank when you are looking from tradition to a bank which you think is non-traditional. But when you drop the traditional bank, which we went into at great length, there is only water without, it's a fountain that you drink or don't drink. But now, having said all that, at one breath, from there, where do we go? The students come with tradition. Can we break down that tradition, not gradually, which is the acceptance of tradition, the gradualness? Can we break that tradition as they come into your house? That's the problem where we left off. Is that right? Mm-hmm. By Joe, I'm waking up. Yeah. Can we do that? Can we create an atmosphere of a presence, a great feeling that in itself generates the energy that breaks down the conditioning? As a student, I come to you, conditioned in the old social, economic, moral sense, that there is, I'll be better tomorrow, I'll be a great success, etc., etc. Can you, as a group, break that down, not in the course of a year or two, but almost within a week it's gone? Come on, sirs, discuss it with me.
Of course, what you just described in terms of the student has one other big factor, in that several students come with an idea of freedom.
Yes.
So besides
the idea of freedom is their reaction to non-freedom,
yes,
which is authority, which is I must do what the parents say. Mm. That's a reaction. It's not real freedom.
Right.
But there's a bit more to it than that. A certain number come also with the idea that there's no future or anything like that. They're not ambitious to do this or anything like that. They seem to have dropped all that part of tradition.
No, but sir, isn't that dropping all that a kind of despair?
No, not necessarily. No. Sometimes it's very hopeful, I think.
Yes, but I'm just inquiring. I mean, do they come with the sense that they have finished with all that and have come to you to give them the waters of life? Have come to you to help them to drink at the fountain?
I don't know if they go as far as that. They've come rather more openly, I'm suggesting, than perhaps you were suggesting.
But we're not dealing with those. There are some who out of reaction want freedom. some who say, I've finished with all this, who have had sex at the age of 12, drink and all that, and said, for God's sake, that's enough. Now, give me something new. There are those who are traditionally bound. Now, how will you, in that presence, in that energy, that thing, how will you wipe all this out?
I think they're mostly in search of pleasure.
Yes, Miss Pratt.
Which is a very powerful urge.
Right. Now, how will you break it all down? That's your responsibility. Right, sir?
Well, military institutions and other colleges do. Well, quite often they have a short period before the ordinary school year begins, especially for the incoming people,
Students.
The freshmen, in which they attempt to indoctrinate them and attempt to propagandize them.
Of course.
Right, and at that time they use the opportunity to remove any really bad apples,
Throw them out.
Right, and come down very hard on those who haven't gotten the idea of what the rules are.
Who don't conform, to the rules.
And so certainly we're not suggesting anything like that.
No. I know I went to a monastery outside Florence. I'll find the name. And the novitiates have to wait for 11.5 years. Certosa.
To do what? Just to get in?
To gain into the real brother. 11.5 years. Mm-hmm. And they're mostly peasants, though they don't mind.
What is Certosa?
Certosa is the name of the monastery.
Well, it would be possible before the regular sessions to begin for us to consider a period of time in which something besides the ordinary schedule occurs. Is that what we can look at?
I'm not suggesting that.
You're not suggesting that.
I don't think it may come to that.
Mm-hmm.
We're examining.
Krishnaji wants them to cross the threshold and get it instantly as they cross the threshold. No preliminary leading them up to it. That's what he's asking for.
But he did mention 1 week.
He
did say.
From instant to a week.
That's on the tape.
Don't take it literally 1 week.
Well, but one week implies different than...
Yes, sir. But I'm just introducing it slowly.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if you really see tomorrow is non-existent, inwardly, psychologically, how will you deal with this problem? There is no gradual breaking down. The gradual breaking down would be the admitting time, the future, psychologically. If you see that is utterly false, the truth of it, not just a verbal assertion of it, then how will you deal with this problem? You understand, sir? It's very interesting. Find out.
Won't there be a tendency for anyone who's coming into this situation to interpret whatever happens to them according to their old way of thinking, so that no matter what occurs to them for a while, they're going to, they'll disregard parts of it they don't understand.
How will you help them to come on, sir? I understand all that. Let us admit for the moment, sir, we have a week. Mm-hmm. The 50 students, you have a week. How will you dissipate this thing? Knowing for yourself the fact fact, not the idea, but the fact, psychologically there is no tomorrow. If you say there is tomorrow, then you enter the whole tradition. You follow? We'll be gradually make the boy unconditioned, or conditioned in a different way. Or we'll gradually help him to become good. That means you shall and you shall not. Now, all that is in the field of tradition. And you say, I've abandoned tradition. I've completely put aside all that. Not verbally, but actually. Then how will you deal with this? Right, sir? How would I deal with a boy who comes conditioned in the traditional sense, and I have a week to break it all down? Not indoctrinate him into another conditioning, but break down his conditioning. Go on, sir. Apply your brain cells, as Agatha Christie and Poirot says.
So it would seem that if we're having new students this next year, we could benefit a lot through spending a lot of time in discussion and in finding out about the students in the first week.
I'm asking you a week. How will you set about? What will you do with the student, with the students that come to you?
Well, we talk about what the place is about.
No, you're back in the old business. What the Brockwood stands for, what Brockwood intends to do, what Brockwood, the project of Brockwood, the future of...
No, I don't mean that. So I mean, once with the student, once finding out about the student, he'll have his reactions and so on. You'll be sharing with all of that.
No,
not putting something over.
You have a week in which you have to break his conditioning completely. That is, you have a week in which to wipe away his traditions. I'm free. You follow? I must do what I like.
Surely, sir, it's the same thing as what we're doing, say, in the talks with you. I mean, we're looking at conditioning.
Yes.
Whether it's his or it's mine. I mean, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Now, after talking the last 3 or 4 times, have you broken down your conditioning? I happen to be the il maestro, the teacher, and you're the student. I've had a week. Not really. I may have had 4 hours probably at the most. And during that 4 hours, had the condition been broken down? Or a little chipped off here and there, but the main wall remains. Few bricks have been knocked off.
It's probably a few bricks.
Why?
Could it be that we approach everything with the traditional mind thought?
Yes, we agree.
And perhaps there's another way of
We
communication.
are doing that now. What does your mind say, sir? How will you deal with this?
You're serious, though.
Hmm?
Are you serious?
Absolutely. What do you think?
I mean, I see that you haven't, in some sense, you haven't solved this problem yourself.
What do you mean?
It's not to say the problem can't be solved.
I know. Wait a minute. You made a statement. I haven't solved it. What happens? I talk there, in the tent. Some of them are serious, some of them are not. Some of them were yawning. Somebody was polishing his nail this morning, carefully brought with all the box, with powder and everything. And wasn't interested because her husband, who was sitting next to her, was nudging her all the time. So, but if you are serious, and I'm serious, you follow? If you say this is right, we're going to do it, we will do it. It will happen. But we're not so completely serious.
What about the seriousness of the student?
He's not.
He's not.
No,
Or
but
the
he said,
audience.
have you done it? So we have a different problem. I'm answering his question. Now, as a group, we are, I hope you are serious. As a group, we say, all right, tradition is destructive, I'll drop it. I have more or less dropped it. Now you've got a group of students. How will we deal with it? What would I do? Right, sir. Huh? Have you got it? First, I would I would help to bring about an atmosphere. You understand? Am I making sense? Not with incense, ringing bells, but create an atmosphere of seriousness, of real affection. You follow? That quality in the air. That when the student comes into there, he feels that he's being there's something here. Not something which pleases him. You follow? Something that is both very disturbing and a feeling that he himself wants that.
Well, a feeling that stirs something in his brain cells that perhaps is...
The feel, no, because brain cells are
well,
you understand what I mean?
He sees it in action more.
He
Huh?
sees
He
something.
sees it happening there. There's something there that he feels, what is this? Because there's a group of people who are all really living the same thing.
Who are immersed in it.
Yes.
And therefore they create a feeling of great disturbance to anybody who comes in, who are traditional, naturally. And
Excuse me.
Huh?
Wouldn't that disturbance cause some to want to leave?
let them leave. That's not the point. No, don't get leaving or not leaving. That's not the point. I said, if I was doing it, I would create this feeling of tremendous seriousness, weight. You can't go against that mountain. You follow?
It doesn't help that atmosphere to immediately jump on the child about the way he wears his hair, the way he dresses.
I've forgotten the child, please.
Okay.
Don't
If we
bring in
forget
the
about
child.
him, then we shouldn't concern ourselves with any of his personal habits at the time that he
No,
comes
wait, I'm not. We'll come to that
in.
yet.
Okay.
I'm seeing what I would do. Not you or any of you. What I would do. Don't imitate me, please. What I would do to create this atmosphere of seriousness, of stability, not one day this stability. You understand? I wonder, huh?
We understand the word, sure.
An immovable stability.
But not petrification.
A non-moving stability in the non-traditional.
Have you ever been in an ancient temple? Where?
Mexico.
Oh no. Mexico, those people have spoiled everything there.
No, that's the one I've been in.
Or in a really old cathedral.
Yes,
Where there is not. No, please don't jump on it. Just listen to it. A sense of ancient stability, not traditional orthodoxy and all that, but the earth is stable. I don't know if you're following it. I will bring it about that. A sense of seriousness, deep, abiding stability, and don't jump on me if I use words. Reverence. Reverence goes with trust, love, all that's implied in that word. I would create it.
Isn't there some ambiguity between stability and the idea that there is no future?
Stability has no future. It's
Well-
stable. The earth, that mountain has no future.
Yes,
It's
but
there.
if it were continually changing, then it wouldn't have stability.
I'm using that word stable in the sense, not permanency, a sense of immovable truth, you understand? Unchangeable reality. When you have that, you do create a tremendous sense of an atmosphere that one feels as you come into it. I would begin with that. Right? At least that I would work on it before the students came.
Begins to be a non-sectarian monastery.
It's not a monastery. Oh no.
I know, not a monastery. There's no religion involved there. But the whole idea, this thing, this stability, isn't that what every church for centuries has wanted to get into?
Their stability is based on a belief of Christ or Krishna or Buddha, or they are going through that stability to achieve nirvana or heaven or this. Nothing of that. That's not stable.
I know, but ours is based on a non-belief.
No, this is not. No, this is not the opposite.
No opposite. But then there's nothing. There's no thing. There's no symbol. There's no sign we can hang up at the window.
No. When I'm using the word, let's change the word. All right, if you don't like that word, a feeling of something that can never be moved.
I know what it is, but I can't put it in institution.
Huh?
I know what it is, but
Oh, no. It is nothing to do with institution.
I know. I say putting it into an institution.
I know. I said, please just listen what I said.
Okay.
Atmosphere. I didn't say institution. We are concerned not with institutions, not with churches, not with establishing Brockwood as the Vatican.
Once you use the word institution, you've killed the whole thing.
You kill the whole damn
You
thing.
put a label on it that says beer.
But what acts like an institution, I call an institution. That's what I say.
No. Not, you see, you come to it.
You don't have to call it an institution because there are a group of people all working
Operating by a
thing.
standard set of rules.
No.
No, not at all.
This isn't the Taneg institution operating at this moment.
All right, here we are. Do you call this institution?
If we made it regular, it would be institutionalized.
Not at all.
Only if you allowed it to by your approach.
Not at all. I abhor institutions. I wandered away from several of them. I wouldn't enter into Brockwood if it became an institution.
No, I don't suspect you.
No, you're missing my whole point. Moment you say this becomes an institution or this is institution, you're already looking at it from a conditioned mind. You are looking at it.
All I can look at is what's there.
And that's your idea. Look, sir, what are we trying to do? I'm asking how to deal with children who come conditioned, and we are supposed to be out of that traditional rut. What can we do within a week to break it down? That's not an institution. And that can never be an institution.
We are not an institution, no.
Then,
out of somewhere, out of this no institution that exists, all of a sudden there's institutionalization.
no, of course not.
Doing this thing that is the opposite of
Thinking
institution.
traditionally the whole time.
Yeah,
No,
you-
I'm saying that as it is. Now, it is. It's absolutely traditional, as it is.
How do you know?
How do you know, sir?
Have you lived in Ontario?
I've.
How long were you there, sir?
How long were you there?
And I'm asking you.
I've been with enough people, students as well. And if students, if they've been lying to me, then Brockwood's turning out liars and they're bad for another reason. I don't know.
So why do you...
Terry, let's not have this degenerate into it means becoming some conflictual. I think what you and I talked the other day, and maybe you'll make it more concrete. Terry wants to write, somehow I think that Terry has the idea that when there's a rule within a community...
I have no ideas. All I have is what everybody seems to have been agreeing on. People against Brockwood, people for Brockwood, people in Brockwood, people outside of Brockwood. A certain set of constants. Okay, that's all I can go by. I don't have any other facts. I haven't been there.
Don't go by them.
What are constants?
Well, I don't know what... Don't go... You have to live there to find out. It's like my going to... staying in America and imagining what people have said about India. I said, good hell. What you have said about India is not India. I have to go there, live and see what it is. That is not, we are not discussing Brockwood. We are trying to say that a group of us who are, so far, I said, we are committed to living off, putting off our traditions. all the traditions which we have been discussing, what we mean by that. And can we, as a group, serious, because we must have a school, because that's the only hope of a new generation, of a new mind and so on. So can we, within a week, that's our problem for the moment, we can, to bring about a breakdown of the conditioning in the boy, in the student. That's all what we're talking about, not institutions. You introduced the word institution and therefore killed the investigation. I'm not concerned about broccoli. I can walk out of it tomorrow. I'm sure most of us can walk out of it tomorrow.
How can you, Christian, do if it's your responsibility?
No, wait, that's not, we're not discussing walking out or walking in. We are trying to find out what we can do, how to do this, which has nothing whatsoever to do with institutions.
And we can do it right here.
And that's what I'm saying. But we have undertaken a responsibility of a school. And all of us here are part of that school, which is not an institution. It is an institution in the sense it is a school. By calling it an institution, you condemn it. I'm not. It's an institution when I get into a train or an airplane or drive a car, I drive along the road. That's an institution. Here, we have a different question altogether, not what happens at Brockwood, whether some say it's all this and some say that, some fall. That's all silly for me. We will deal with that much later. But what I am saying is this possible?
Are we actually considering to take the students that will be coming to us in September and
what are you going to do?
what are we and do something with them?
You've got to do it. That's your responsibility. I've sent you my son.
Well, we always do something.
And we always do something, quite agree. But that's not what I want my son to be. I want my son to be non-traditional in the deep sense of that word, at every level. His whole thinking.
Are we inquiring whether it can be done or how to do it or what we should do?
What one is to do, not whether it can be done, what is one to do. You've got a car in front of you. You don't know how to, you follow how the engine, you've got to do something. Go on, sir. I said, if I was the teacher there, I would create an atmosphere that is tremendously strong, not to condition him, which would be institutional. Like going to Eton or one of these places is well established, well soaked in tradition, and it has got its own atmosphere, like a Catholic church or Catholic school, and they're conditioned. I don't mean that.
It simply awakens his sensibilities.
I don't
interest.
know. The atmosphere I'm talking about.
Yes.
Not
But it will have to. He'll have to respond to it in some way.
what?
He'll have to respond to it. in
I'm
some
not.
way.
I'm going to create it first.
Yes.
I will see what happens.
Yes, but how does it not become the influence of the Catholic Church?
Because first of all, there is no belief, right? There is no hierarchy. There is no ritual, circus, and candle.
It's interesting. He says, this is different.
No, you're again going back to the student. I'm not. I am concerned with creating an ambience. Because that matters very much, you know. If I go into a house and I'm really welcome, I feel at home there. I'm not saying Brockwood should have a home. I'm not thinking about Brockwood, so don't say that. If I enter a house where I'm welcome, where I feel the people are right, and there is an atmosphere there, isn't there? What's the matter with, what are you all...
Are you assuming that all the people there are capable of this?
Huh?
Are you assuming that all the people
I said
involved?
I would do this.
Oh, I know you would, yes.
My dear chap, you are misunderstanding the whole thing. I said, what would you do?
All alone.
A group of us, not alone.
But a group of us then all has to be capable of doing it.
Of course. And group of us say, we are committed to this. We don't say, yes, I'm sorry, I'm off tomorrow, you look after your own grandmother. We are there. We have left our houses, we have left our careers, we have left everything, we want to be there. Not for personal enjoyment, we feel this is right. And I say to them, part of them, I say, what shall we do? I don't see you have done or not done at Brockwood. That's not irrelevant. Here is face it as a new problem. Well, sir. How would you do it?
Well, it requires a certain attitude on the part of we people at Brockwood.
Attitude? You can't have an attitude. You are up to your neck. You can't sit as though have an attitude. You are totally responsible. You're totally involved in freeing yourself from tradition completely. So that's why we're met. And in September, at the end of September, you're going to meet them. What will your responsibility do, create, or this? You follow, sir? If you say it's an attitude, just it's an idea.
Well, it was a poor choice of words, certainly.
Huh?
I wouldn't have used that word if I had a thought for a moment.
What I'm asking, how will
each
you?
one of us, sir, Krishnaji, felt that every single teacher
and every single person that was in that institution felt that way.
Don't use that word institution. For God's sake, I'm fed up with that.
That's my mistake.
Yes, I'm
Not
sorry.
your mistake. This goes
In this
on
school,
all the time.
If every single person.
But you said if.
All right, every single
But
person
they
in
don't.
that school. Well, they must.
The must is another
Then they
tradition.
don't belong in the school.
No, don't say those things, for God. Don't lay down the law. What are we to do? Here is a group of us. We say, after discussing, analyze, say conversation, inquiring, we say that's perfectly right. Tradition hasn't solved a thing. It hasn't brought a new life to people. It hasn't changed people. A new quality of mind hasn't entered into people. Now here we are, and we say, look, we see the truth of not having tradition. We've gone into it. I won't go on repeating it. And as we are responsible for children, how can we help them to break down this tradition?
When everybody's committed like that and really has seen that, the atmosphere is created. It's there.
Yes,
Once it's done. You don't have to talk about it or explain to each child what
that's what I'm asking. I didn't want to be rude and say, have you broken down your tradition? That's inevitable. If I've broken down totally that thing called tradition, I may... You see, I have a problem here. I have a problem of responsibility real responsibility to uncondition the student and not condition him or indoctrinate him in another direction. That's my problem. Now, how am I going to do it? What am I to do? You don't help me, do you?
Won't we help each other by pointing out to each other how we get stuck in tradition and we'll try and work unified?
No, sir, see the danger of that. You pointed out to me my conditioning. When I'm tired, wait a minute, when I'm tired or depressed, and I react. And that reaction enters your mind. You're not getting my point.
I get your point. It doesn't. What shall we say from there, sir?
I want to be above and beyond for you to point out to me.
I mean, it's unnecessary. There's nothing
Totally unnecessary. I want to be in that position where you cannot point it out. You see the difference?
But you see, we keep jumping at two sides of the fence when we're talking here. On one hand, we're saying, yes, this is what must be. On the other hand, you're saying very politely, or not saying and implying, and as Montague said,
No,
you're not.
Sir, that's only. Don't make. Look, sir. I've been criticized all my life. About this, that, and homosexual, sleeping with dozens of women, money-minded, chasing always with rich women, everything you can think of. Dull, stupid, idiotic, liar, everything. Not one of those criticisms have touched me. Because, never mind. I'm not those, anything like that. You see, when I drop tradition, I don't have to be pointed out. You follow, sir? You don't have to come to say, look, you are conditioned, you old fool, there. I'm so watchful, you follow? You may say, well, my dear chap, you've got a blind spot over there, of which you're not aware. And I say, look, show it to me. Show it to me. Don't say, criticize. Don't say you're wrong. You are conditioned. Point it out. I may have seen it. And therefore it may not exist. To you it may look it is a blind spot. But I want you to point out, not criticize. Because when you criticize, you are taking a position. I'm not. I want you to show it to me. The showing is an act of friendliness, an act of care, an act of attention, in which there is no criticism. But the moment you say, you blind spot, you old fool, I say, look, I may know it, but you are translating a blind spot. So that's a different matter, right? I've been through all this, sir, all my life. So, we've got this problem. How shall we deal with it? God, how many criticisms. Vain. You have got good looks, and you are, I'm fed up with all this stuff. Silly stuff. Now, what shall we do with this problem? Come on, sir.
Well, is the problem changed a little bit since the last time we talked about it?
What?
Is the problem now one that we recognize that the proper atmosphere...
No, I'm asking, how will you may do it, I want, so that we all do it together. You may create an atmosphere which may be opposed to mine, and therefore destroy each other's atmosphere. So, together, what shall we do? If we have abandoned tradition,
That if it's taller than all these mountains.
I don't think so.
What did he say, sir? What did you say?
He says that's a tall order, as high as those mountains. And I said, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's very simple if we look at it. I don't want to go through all the complicated process of can I not, and my God, I am conditioned, how shall I get rid of my conditioning before I can unconditional? I don't want to go through all those silly examinations. I say, I see immediately the whole bank of tradition. Right, sir? And what it has done historically, what it is doing now, what it has done, all the rest of it. And I say, I won't touch it. Not out there, but in here.
Once it is,
Madam, the thing is, have you done it? Sorry, not you. I mustn't ask personally. Has this happened?
Krishnaji, when we're near you, it is abandoned, but somehow it comes back again.
It can never be it can never come back.
Then it's not total.
And it's up to you. It can never come back. It's like saying, I see the bottle marked poison, and I'm going to drink it. Occasionally I drink it, you follow, but I see it's poisonous. No, that doesn't mean a thing. Look, sir, this is terribly serious. You understand? Otherwise, you won't produce a new thing. There won't be the flame. Put it on the other way. The fountain is there. How will you help those boys to drink? Right? Not whiskey and beer, pubs and all the rest of it. The fountain is there. How will you help them? Come on, sirs. Therefore, from that arises, what is education? Right? What are you educating these students for? To become glorified clerks?
Glorified what?
Glorified clerks? I said this to a very high official in talking about education at a meeting. Oh, tremendously high. And he got up and walked out. I never seen him. He was a glorified clerk, all right.
Do you mean clerk?
Clerk, yes.
No, you mean clerk.
English is clerk. English is clerk.
We mean clerk.
It's forgot clerk in America, clerk in India, in England. Now we've got this responsibility. And the flame is there for you to light it. The candle is there for you to light it. It's all there. The fountain, the candle, the faggots, and everything is there. It's our responsibility to light it. And it's our responsibility to help, to see that the boys want to drink that fountain, that water. Go on, cycle in.
Well, isn't that the crux of it? If one is
I say want to drink.
Yes.
That's not coercion.
No, she said crux.
I said crux.
Isn't that the crux?
Crux. Now put it anywhere. What will you do? They don't want to drink.
But if they are brought to a point of seriousness.
What will you do?
Well, if one.
I want beer. Whiskey, because I saw my mother and father drink beer or whiskey, whatever they do. And I want that. And you are giving me fresh living waters of the fountain. And I said, what are you talking about? I want beer. How will you, please take that one thing, how will you break down that thing? Not within 3 years, my God, I'm dead by then. You are allowed a week by God. Otherwise your head will chop off. What will you do? Sir, this is really an astonishingly interesting problem, you understand? It gives new life to each one. What will you do, sirs?
You'll have something within you.
An
atmosphere.
Here is an immediate problem. Don't say when. You've got, there is that fountain, which is not whiskey. And the boy has drunk whiskey and beer, and he wants that. And you say, for God's sake, if you drink at that fountain, your life will be different. Your whole life will be enchanted. And he says, sorry, I want my beer. And he comes to you with that. How will you bring about that he himself, out of his own heart, out of his own mind, out of his own delight, wants to drink at that fountain? Right, sir? Oh, you... What will you do, sir? Go on, sir. Exercise your brain, which can't find an answer, I assure you. We haven't exercised it, that's all.
So together with him, we're going to look at suffering.
I want him to drink that water, not his blasted beer.
So I don't see how you answered what I said.
Suffering? But that's nothing to do with it. I'm not interested in his suffering or my suffering. I'm interested as my responsibility as a teacher, having dropped, and I mean really dropped tradition, there is a fountain of real waters, and I want him to drink it with his heart, not with his mind. That's my problem, not his suffering, my suffering, universal suffering. That's a different matter. We can tackle that. This is my problem now. Tell me how to resolve it. You're going to face this within next month and a half. 7 weeks. What will you do?
Well, do we approach this as a staff or as an individual?
As a group.
As a group.
You're all here. This group is going to face this issue.
So it's not an individual action?
No, because you might have one thing and I might, and we'll destroy each other if we have different opinions.
Well, is it something
in that process we'll destroy the child.
Is it something that we'll sit down and agree upon?
What? No. What will we do? Let's find out. Not agree. I mean, the thing...
Let's really try to find out. I mean, seeing that's the question.
So if it is a problem to you, burning problem to you, to all of us, do we have an agreement?
Yes.
Huh?
If it's a burning problem to us all, we have an agreement.
Is an agreement. Wait. See the meaning of that word agreement. Agreeing about something.
About the problem.
No. I'm trying. When you use the word agreement, agreeing with opinions.
No, it's not an opinion. It's a...
Agreeing to a conclusion. Agreeing, yes, you are right, I'm wrong, but I'll accept you because it's right. That's an agreement. It's a concordat, what do you call it, sir? A contract. But I don't want a contract. I want, you see it and I want to see it. When you see it, both of us see it, there is no contract. When both of us see that snake is deadly, we see it. There is no agreement about it. So, gosh, I've got to fight every... Huh? Now, what will you do? That's all of us as a group are responsible for that boy. For that boy, responsible that he drinks at that fountain. Out of his own heart, not pushed into it. That he gives up his beer, his whiskey, all that, and says, my God, this is marvelous. And therefore he'll invite all his little friends to drink. The thing is something different. I can go on about it. Arethusa, sir. Fons Arethusa. That's what we've got. Come on, what will you do? That's what I mean, the stability of that water. You understand, sir? It's never dry.
Well, I think it's fairly clear that we are that water in...
Look, Ted, have you drunk at that fountain?
That's what I'm saying.
I know you're saying that. I'm asking you. If you have not, I don't see you have or not. How am I to help you to drink there? Help you, not coerce you, not to show my delight in the water. Then you will also be delighted and want it. I want to see, without coercion, without example, without play, that you drink that water. There you are. What shall I do with you? Come on, sir. Let's discuss it that way. What can I do?
See, now that right at this moment puts me in the position of I'm not you and me at the same moment. So I can just look at you asking that question and not assume that I'm you, the questioner, right?
Right.
So I understand in some sense what is happening. And I want even more exactly to be as completely certain of what is happening as you give every indication of being absolutely.
I understand. Now, Ted, my question is this. You haven't drunk at that fountain. You may have. I say to you, without coercion, without all that, there is that fountain. And you voluntarily, happily, with great delight, drink it. Without coercion, that's my feeling, that I don't want in any way to coerce you, in any way push you, direct you. It is there. And I said, man, if you could only drink that. Not in that voice or in persuasion and all that. I said, that's... Now, how am I to do that to you? You there, now. Wait, this is a very interesting point. Let's tackle it. What are we to do?
Well, now I say, well, I seem perfectly available to that possibility.
No, I don't want.
Yes, but
the fountain is there. Drink it.
Yes. Well, how am I not doing that?
No.
No.
You're missing my point.
Yes.
I talked an hour and a half this morning. Now I'm just taking a little bit. There you are, Ted. I don't know whether you have drunk at that fountain or not. I don't know. I won't persuade you. It is there, bubbling.
Well, I already feel, now this is, just let me tell you a fact to my senses. I already feel that you don't have very much to do at all with that which I have every
indication
to get. But I don't know if that's what you...
No.
But what is holding? This paralysis. What is holding Ted from the fountain?
Then we enter into quite a different field. What's holding him? Then I have to examine what is holding him and analyze it. Go through all that process. I don't want to go through that process.
Are we assuming that Ted, or let's say...
I'm talking about Ted.
Well, to make it impersonal, that the other
I'm talking about Ted.
is aware of a fountain. Is that assumed?
No.
No.
Wait, please, just listen to me. Tradition has said there is a fountain drink. And the tradition said these are the barriers for you which prevents you from drinking. Get rid of them. Control them. Change them. Substitute. That is the tradition. And tradition says there is a teacher who is going to lead you to it. Trust the teacher. Put your faith in the bloody teacher. Sorry. And all that. That is the tradition. And I have broken that tradition. Therefore, no barriers, you follow? No guide. And I say, my friend, there is a fountain there. I know what it is. I've drunk at it. I can't tell you what to do, because that would be back again. So, how can I bring into you the urgency of that action of drinking. Urgency. The urgency then will wipe out everything. I don't know if you follow what I mean.
I
Wipe
don't.
out-
Yeah, but I don't. If I have. There's an urgency. Now, what interests me now is how this urgency that I'm in may not be the urgency.
I'm not interested.
Uh-huh.
You see, you're going back again.
I see. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Because then you become a trans.
As a teacher, I say to you, jump. Jump into the water. And there is the fountain. And you say, my friend, I don't know how to swim. I don't know how to jump. Tell me what to do. Those are all the... So how am I, that's my problem, you understand? Actual problem now. How am I I must find the right word, not convince you, not help you, not persuade you, not act as an example.
Reveal to you?
Huh?
Reveal to you?
Reveal to you the immensity of that water. Reveal. So, so that you say, quite, and then you follow? Now what am I to do? Touch you? Wait, no, just see the... Touch you, bless you, hold your hand and point out, be tremendously affectionate to you. All those are persuasions in a subtle form. I won't do it.
But without the student or the person ever having tasted, without Ted having tasted that water, that water to him...
That's a supposition. It's...
No. When you have left the tradition completely, then you are drinking at the fountain. Right?
Well, then there's no problem.
That's what I'm saying to you. You are still thinking in terms of tradition. You are without tradition, right? Completely. And I meet you. I say, my God, this is the most extraordinary man I have met. He has no tradition. You understand? There's no background. There is nothing.
Well, you might think I'm a bore, too.
No. I observe this. And that, I say, what an extraordinary phenomenon this is. Your whole inward thing is not constructed and made, put together. It's nothing there.
Sensitive and alive.
Who?
Well, we're saying this instance, Ted.
I'm not interested whether it's alive or dead or sensitive. My concern is, has he left the tradition and therefore he's drinking the water? If he has not let the disbanded or put away or thrown it all out, then what am I to do? You follow? Ted has not, forgive me, Ted has not thrown away his tradition. And what am I to do with him? He's my responsibility. Because I'm talking to him directly. He's my responsibility. And how am I, within a very short period, to break down this tradition in him? I won't do all the traditional things. You follow? Touch, miracle, and my example, glory. I sit on a throne and he just comes. Or I discard all that bilge. Now what am I to do with him? I'm responsible. Therefore, I can't leave him. Can't say, sorry, you're a hopeless old boy. Go somewhere else. I won't allow you to leave. Allow you and say all that. It's a miracle that you have been sent. It's a miracle that you are here. Therefore, it's my responsibility. You understand? So I have to see, as my responsibility is flaming, I have to see that you are free of tradition. Now, what am I to do? It's the same thing with the boy. You follow? And I have a week with you. No more. Because then God's closed the door. I'm joking. You understand? That's a joke. Now what am I to do? I've got to find a way. I'm putting you in that position. Right?
Is there any way that
Sir, what do you mean you're putting him? You're in that position. Why isn't it operating? No, not why isn't it?
I'll show it to
Answer
you.
your
I'll
question,
show it to
please,
you.
sir.
I'm not with him for a week.
But we're here now.
Sir, he's not willing to listen. He's caught in tradition. He's not willing to listen and see the fact, the destructive nature of tradition. See it. And I'm talking to him day after day. I'm allowed a week. Perhaps if allowed a week, if I talk to him every day, something would take place. Right? It's bound to take place. Either he'll go mad or just walk out. But I'm not with Ted every day. But you have these boys every day for the next 3 years. Our positions are not the same. That's why in the old days, they said, you come and live with me. You follow? The teacher or the guru, whatever that bird was, he was married, children, come and live with me. That goes on in India still. The people who want to learn singing or drum, mridangam and all the rest of it, they have to go and live with the man, with the master. Now you've got these, you're the masters, and you've got these boys living with you. Ted, do you see what is taking place? Very interesting. If you knew that when you jump the waters are safe, then that has no validity. No. But to jump not knowing, you understand? That's what we are asking. Physicists are doing this. Inquire not into the known, but into the unknown. And they can't leave their roots from the known. And so they carry the known into what they consider their unknown. Here, we're asking, Ted, jump. It may be concrete. So you want assurance that it is not concrete. See, and I say sorry. Find out.
And you're not willing to push him.
Huh?
And you're not going to push him.
Of course not.
And you're not going to beg him.
It's all in tradition.
Dangle a carrot in front of him. Knowing that it's carrot, that is cement.
And you're not going to just tell him, well, it's up to you, jump or not jump.
No. You have a responsibility.
You want him to jump.
Responsibility to create a mind that is free of tradition.
Sir, isn't it worthwhile to spend 1 week with Ted, and Ted will spend 1 week with all of us together?
We might, but I do it now. God, if you could jump. So what am I to do? Spend a week? Just listen, spend a week with all of you? Would that do it? I won't admit time, you understand, sir?
So could you go more into what you mean, jump? Because as I see it,
and there it is. Being confused, can you walk out of it? Without persuasion, all that business. Just walk out of it. It is possible. It is not faith. Then go back to church. I think you will jump. When you see all this very clearly.
You see that if the house is on fire, you don't ask whether it's snow or grass out there. You get
You
up.
pick up any bucket or any hose that's connected to pipe, I hope.
I've done it into the snow.
Yeah. Burnt 2 houses, you know it. When you actually see the futility of all this, then there is, you're finished. But you don't see it. Now my problem then is, how can I help you to see it? By talking? by showing the fallacy of all this. And if I show the fallacy, you have arguments for and against. So we'll be again at the verbal, intellectual level. So, what shall I do? And you're always looking through your glasses, coloured. And so you never take them off, and yet you want to look. Right? So, what will make you, persuade you, naturally, easily to remove those glasses and look? Some more hits on the head.
That I have them on.
Some more hits on the head. Some more suffering. Some more reward. All those are on the bank of the river, which is traditional. So what is the catalyst that will make you say, right, I have no glasses. See, Ted, it's a question of energy. Energy which is not brought through food. The food is necessary. It's not an energy of desire. In that, when you have that, you have a will in operation. And therefore resistance, conflict and all that. You want a different kind of energy. The energy that comes through clarity. You see? You follow it?
Can I say something right there? I already see the futility, the conflict, the friction, and all of the messed up way the other energy works. And so that
So when clarity is necessary, isn't it? When there is clarity, there is energy. Right? Now, how am I to help you to see clearly? I can't. You can accept me as authority and follow me. What am I to do or do nothing to see that you have clarity? Not Ted, you, all of us. See, I won't do a thing. That's the first thing to realize. I won't do a thing, move a finger. Both physically or inwardly. Then what takes place? See what takes place. Come, you see something quick. What takes place?
I see a kind of a non-resistance.
No, more than that, sir. What takes place?
Well, a kind of a hole that you get pulled into.
He faces an immovable reality. Right? So he has to do something. I don't know if you're following this. When this man says, I won't lift a smallest finger to help you. Right? That's an immovable fact. And you are facing that. What takes place? Go on, Ted. Move. What takes place when there is an enormous boulder on the road? You can't move.
You go around it.
Huh?
You get over it or around
You can't. What do? Either go around it or climb it, and then where? Are you in that position? Here's a man who says, I won't help you.
Well, then I'll do it myself.
You don't face the reality of it. You see what happens? I won't help you. I won't help you to look through a microscope. Then what happens? I won't help you lift a finger. I'm immovable. Then you have to exercise your greatest insight and ingenuity to move. And you are not doing it. You follow my point? That is real creativeness, not pictures. That sense of facing an immovable reality, and you have to act. The immovable reality is the children want beer. And you have to find a way, an insight, an action that will break that desire. Go on, sir. But you have to face the immovable reality. You can't go and say, well, I'll put garlands around it, and incense, and kick it around, and put it in a beastly church and all that. You've got to face that and move. That's I don't want to break it.
It's the same, isn't it? That unmovable reality, whether it's in
No,
here.
no, don't translate into something else. Here it is a fact. K says, I won't lift a finger to help you. And he means it. You can cut his throat, cut whatever you want, but he won't move from that. That's an immovable reality. Because he says, look at all the churches have done this, all the gurus have done it, all the books, that's all tradition, that's dead. Faced with that, and you are committed in your responsibility, and you have got to act. Right, Ted? See what has taken place. Huh? Your mind then is moving. You follow? The mind becomes extraordinarily looking, watching. Because now you can't go back to tradition. You're facing this and you've got to do something. Right? Let's stop. I'm sorry I can't talk.